Hello everyone, this is Ken, and this is day 6 of my 30-day world challenge by AbsoluteTableTop. Today's topic is magic. So magic is a really interesting topic for my world because it being set in our modern day world, our realm, which has no magic. Like, the common belief, perception is that there's no magic. Versus a fantasy world, which is, full of magic. There's pyromancers and, spellbooks, magical swords, and necromancers, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Dragons and mind flayers and things. So having a world like that invade ours makes this big clash of tech and magic, which is one of the main themes. That's something I really wanted to push and look at in my world. That's something, like, that's why I found it so interesting to do this. So, like, in one of the first missions, or the first mission that you would run if you're following in the documents I put for my game, Mission 0 has a team of Spetsnaz, Russian Special Forces operators, engaging with orcs, and the orcs are no normal orcs, but the orcs have a battle mage on their side. So you get to see some guy commanding skeletons and shooting fireballs and casting magical poison clouds versus a bunch of guides with and ladies with AK-47s and grenade launchers and knives. And so you've got the unpredictability, at least for really for both sides. The magical side has no experience with technology of the likes they're going to find in the modern world. Gas masks, night vision goggles, armor piercing rounds, fully automatic weapons. Like, you have some things that are maybe similar to the fantasy world, but not that exact same. Like, even just the tech that your special forces character is going to be wearing is going to be completely alien to the fantasy guys. At the same time, the fantasy guys are doing things that are either A, completely unknown to your modern day characters, or are things that your modern day characters believe are impossible, which really helps, like, going into the role playing of it, especially not letting your players know that you're going to be dealing with fantasy creatures. For, like, that first game, let them think that they are going to play, like, Rainbow Six, that they're going to go up against terrorists, and then lo and behold, it's a bunch of orcs and giant Black Panthers and skeleton warriors and a mage. Like, that's going to take both sides by surprise, and that's really going to play into the game. And that's where you're going to see the players doing some really creative things, where they have all this modern gadgetry, and they're going to have to figure out how to use that to overcome the magic. And I mean, both sides are going to look at one another as being crazy, overpowered, or completely underpowered. You have a mage over here who is literally throwing fire with his hands, which is going to freak the hell out the Russian guides, at least normally would. Whereas at the same time, you have the Russians who are going to be able to go in and use, like, door breach charges, or again, armor piercing rounds, and just slice right through whatever armor the orcs wearing, which is, that's going to be crazy to them. Like, the orcs are used to seeing, maybe at best crossbows, or even, like, if you have some weird sort of world, maybe like those, like, automatic crossbows, or like a really fast archer that can just toss them off really quickly. But now suddenly they're coming up against a guy with an AK, fully automatic weapon. These, tiny, at least they're used to arrows and bolts, and now they're facing these little bullets that are just, hundreds of rounds downrange really quickly. I think it makes for some really interesting play for both sides. And yeah, having the magic exclusive to one side, I think makes the game really really neat doing asymmetrically like that. So yeah, magic. It's really it's it's a real big thing. It's a lot of fun to tease with, especially if you can take it on a bigger scale too. I am going to be running a mission where my players are going to be pilots in either the Royal the Royal Air Force for the United Kingdom or for the United States Navy, and so they're going to be in like Eurofighters and Super F-18s, Hornets, dogfighting against dragons and against drakes with mage riders. So you're going to have your fighter jets over here with um, their giant machine gun cannons and their heat-seeking missiles and their laser-guided bombs and flares and um, going supersonic and all this stuff. And then on the other side, you're gonna have dragons who giant scaly beasts. They're gonna be able to rip planes right out of the sky, just grab them with their claws, with their teeth, breathe fire. Maybe even incinerate incoming missiles. And you're gonna have the drakes, smaller, more nimble, probably closer in size to the fighter jets themselves. Only at the mouth to deal with, and the feet, claws, but still formidable in and of themselves. And then they're gonna have mage riders on top of them, tossing firebolts and fireballs and lightning bolts at them, and casting illusions and whatnot. Like, that's gonna be crazy. I mean, so there you go. Thing for magic. If you have a fighter jet dual dog fighting a drake with a mage on him, and the mage casts illusion. Illusion is a pretty normal spell you see in like D&D, 5e, and all that other stuff. And make a second drake with a rider on him. Maybe the pilot can't figure out which one's which, but the instruments on the computer of the fighter jet, is that going to be able to tell? I mean, if it's like a heat-seeking missile, wouldn't it would go after the correct one instead of the wrong one? And so that's something where, are your players going to figure that out, or are they going to keep on holding the thumb down on the machine gun and hope that they're aiming at the one that isn't the illusion? You're going to have like really interesting dynamics like that. So yeah, magic, it's really fun to mess around with in my setting, and I hope you all enjoyed this talk about magic, and I will see you in the next video, or you will see me in the next video. Thank you.